last game of the season?
A road win.
Yeah.
It's been since 2017. That's unacceptable for a program like this to not win a league game since 2017. So to me, those are the things that we got to change. So and it starts with having a great week of preparation. We got to come out and have a great Wednesday practice tomorrow. So, that's our goal. That means a lot to this program to be able to prepare and do something that hasn't been done for a long time. I mean, think back, 2000. I mean, I look at where I was, or that's a long time ago. So those have to change, and we've had those opportunities that slip by, and we got to make sure that that's the focal point.
Obviously, you've talked about that with the team, Doug, or don't you?
I don't stress it, but I mean, it's real. It's out there. So, I think sometimes, guess what? That's what's out there. That's what hasn't been done, and we got to change that. And again, we can't look in the past. That's gone. We can only focus on what we have right now at Game 10, playing a great opponent that's winning football games this year, gearing up to go into the playoffs. And regardless of the opponent, I'm focusing more on having our guys ready to play football, having this program it'd be great going into the off season with a win.
Usually we don't get a chance to talk to the coach after the final game of the season, so I know you have a game in front of you, but from a progress standpoint, you've preached, getting better every single day, making progress. Fans are going to look at this and say, hey, they only measure in wins and losses.
Yeah.
But what do you see from a progress standpoint over the last 2 years that you can mark and say, hey, we are better. This is a positive step that we've taken?
It is. It's about, there's no if, answer. It's about, you got to win football games. So can I reflect? Can I look back and pull up film from last year's SIU and look at our young men then playing to where they are now? And there's a big difference, and it might be up front. Usually the differences are up front, offensive line, especially if they're young. An Aiden Parker, a Jason Williams. Jason Williams last year playing against Southern Illinois, I mean, he's looking for about 5 guys to block and doesn't block anyone, meaning you could tell the experience, that was his first college football experience, and seeing where he's grown to be a really good offensive lineman. He's going to continue to be a really good offensive lineman. We got to get him bigger. We got to get him stronger. And, so those are the areas that I do see growth. I look at our quarterback who ran scout team in the spring, ran scout team. We had to prepare for a season, and if you came in after COVID and weren't ready to play, you're running scout team. But to see the growth he's made in 5 months over the summer to end up being our starting quarterback, I mean, I see growth there. So, there's a lot of areas in the program you see growth, and I'm never going to say, well, no, we got to win football games. I'm not going to ever make excuses, whether you're young, never want that to be an excuse. We got to prepare better. We got to coach better. I got to coach better. I got to lead better. I got to get my young men prepared to play a football game. And that falls on my shoulders. And, coming off a tough loss, we got to be ready for another great opponent on Saturday and have our young men ready to play a physical football game for 60 minutes.
Look, I know you don't look in the past, but you go back to the Western Illinois game you're up. Did that, I'm not saying change things, but did that kind of change things?
Yeah. I mean, confidence, the belief, buy-in. The one thing I have a lot of respect for Coach Hill is he's been there. He's had some tough seasons and stuck to it, stuck to the plan, stuck to recruiting, stuck to developing to be able to compete in this league. And they are. So here's a perfect example of what can happen over time to your program. So, yeah, to get the buy-in, to get the belief, those wins can do a lot for your program. And, I hate, that's a nightmare, looking back at those games. And at the end of the year, you'll reflect and look back on all those areas and look at opportunities that you missed. And, I truly believe, too, the off-season is a great time that you build that toughness, the mental toughness. There's a lot of things in football that doesn't involve any fundamentals. It's just working together with your teammates in very hard situations. So when you get to the season and you're in a situation where it's not always going perfect, that they lean on each other and they have that mental toughness to overcome that. You know, we talk about toughness. There's physical toughness and there's mental toughness, and you got to focus in both those areas nonstop. And especially in the off season, you can really focus in on the mental aspects.
As far as Southern goes, just talented quarterback. What do they do?
Yeah, I mean he's great. I mean, just a good football player that makes good decisions for him. He can throw every throw. He can run, get himself out of trouble. And then I do believe they have the two best receiver combinations in Lenore and Cox. And then they bring in the Williams, young man that can be at tailback, can be at wildcat. I think their left guard's one of the best in the conference. So I think they got an offense. And when we talked about that mental toughness, when I watched their football team play football, I mean, you watch the first half of the South Dakota State game, and they're not making plays. South Dakota's doing what they need to do, and they just stick to it, and they make a play, and then they make another play, and the next thing you know, it's a football game. Next thing you know, they're getting a hard-fought win on the road at South Dakota State. So this is an example of a team that has prepared and has overcome adversity. They respond well when they're down. So I have respect for what they have done, and I think they're a great football team and a program.
I know it's Tuesday, quarterback-wise, I mean, Demetrius went down a little bit, and Mitch, so where you kind of at?
Great day for both those young men. At this point of the year, guys get dinged, they get beat up. It's a violent, physical football game, but they had a couple of days to go and rehab, and they were both ready to practice today.